Hey guys, just wanted to post a short video going over our Unit 3 Savings and Investings unit. Not gonna lie, it's a little bit trickier than the other things we've been working on. It's a lot of decimals, percentages, stuff like that involved. So watch this video. I'm gonna go over everything. And please, if you have any questions after you don't understand something, let me know. I'm here to help. I feel like no one's really asking me for help, and I'm not really doing too much. I'm feeling lazy right now, so ever need help, please let me know. Reach out. That's what I'm here for. I have no problem helping you. But if you watch this and it makes sense, that's great too. All right. So let's get started. I only got 15 minutes until my video gets cut off. The two things we're going to focus on mostly are simple interest and compound interest. What they are, what's the difference, and how kind of you can make money using them. Right. So first and foremost, let's look at how we calculate interest in the first place. This is the interest formula. I represents interest you're going to make equals P, or principal investment, the amount of money that you put into the bank account originally. $100, $200, whatever. R is your rate, how much you're going to get paid, or your interest rate, right? So 5%, 10%, 2%, 8%, whatever. Then T is time. So one, how long the money's in the account, but also how often you're going to calculate your interest or get paid new interest, right? That could either be annually, semi-annually, or quarterly. And we're going to talk more about that later on in the booklet. All right? This formula is important. Interest equals principal investment times your rate times the amount of time it's in the bank account for. All right? So looking at this table down here, this is what we did. We invested our principal amount of $500 at a rate of 3.1% interest, which is this as a decimal. Just take 3.1 and divide it by 100, right? That's how we get that. So 500 times our rate, 0.031, times 3 years. That's how long the money is going to be in the account. We're going to make $46.50 in interest. So our total after 3 years is we're going to have $546.50, right? We're going to add them together. Our principal amount in this example, $2,200. Our rate is 1.5%. 2,200 times 0.015, because that's what 1.5 as a decimal is. This times 5 equals $165. 2,200 plus 165. After 5 years of collecting interest, we now have $2,365 in our account. $10,000 at a rate of 7%, or 0.07, times 20, 14,000, right? So after 20 years of collecting interest on this money you put in the account, you now have $24,000 in your bank account, right? It more than doubled just by having money sit in there for 20 years. It's a long time, but it makes you a lot of money too, right? That's how you calculate interest. Principal times your rate times how long it's going to be in there. Don't forget that. It's also important that you realize, because we calculate interest in terms of years, to turn months and days into years. So I put a little tip: divide number by 12 if it's in months, and 365 if it's in days, right? So 6 months is 0.5 years, 3 months is 0.25 years, 36 months is 3 years, 660 days is 1.808 years, and so on and so forth, right? How did I get those numbers? 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. 500 divided by 365 is 1.369. That's how I did it, right? How many days I have divided by the amount of days in a year, tell me how many years those days represent, right? So just be able to convert days or months into years. This we're doing again, what we just did up top, right? So our principal investment, $1,300, times our rate of 0.035, or 3.5%. How long is it going to be there for? 4.5 years. So after 4.5 years, we're going to make it $204.75 in interest. So total in our account, we're going to have $1,504.75 if we take what we made and we add it to what we put in originally. Same thing for this one, and this one. Just take this amount, times it by the decimal version of the percent, times it by the amount of time that's in there, That's how much you're going to make in interest. Follow that formula, right? Interest equals principal times rate times time. Same thing for Kim, right? She invested $4,500 in a 3-year GIC at a 5% interest rate. How much will she make per year? Well, 4,500 times 0.05 times 1 equals $225. How much in 3 years? Just take that, times it by 3. You make $675 in 3 years. This section looks at how, if we change principal, if we change rate, or we change time, how that affects our interest and how much we're going to get. So our first table looks at if we change how much money we invest, how does that change how much money we're going to collect in interest? So 1,000 times 0.02 times 5 equals 100. 2,000 times 0.02 times 5 equals 200. This one equals 300. This one equals 400. So when he invests an extra $1,000 or 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 4,000, when they put in that extra 1,000, the amount of interest you get goes up by $100, right? As you can see. When principal or our investment doubles, so say 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4,000, the amount of interest doubles. We can see that because 2,000 is double 1,000 and 200 is double 100. 4,000 is double 2,000 and 400 is double 200. So double your principal investment, it'll double the amount of interest you collect. In this example, we're changing the rate, right? So this is the same principal every single time. Years is the same every single time. What's changing is how much interest we're going to collect, or our rate. So at a 2% rate, we're going to make $100. At a 3% rate, 150. 4, 200. 5, 250. So for every time we increase our rate by 1%, we're making an extra $50. That's what I put right here. When the rate doubles, the amount of interest also doubles. Let's see how that's right. Well, 2% and 4%. Let's look at that. 4% is double 2%, and 200 is double 100, right? So when our rate doubles, the amount of interest we collect doubles. Lastly, we look at if we change time, right? So the principal is the same, rate's the same, but how much time the money's in the bank account, that's what's changing. If it's in there for 1 year, $20. 2 years, $40. 3 years, $60. 4 years, $80. So for each extra year, the amount of interest goes up by $20, right? You can see that right there. When the length of time doubles, the amount of interest doubles. Let's see how we know that, right? 2 years is double 1 year, 40 is double 20. 4 years is double 2 years, 80 is double 40. Double the time the money's in the account, double the amount of money you're going to get in interest. Pretty simple, right? This is the trickiest one, compound interest. So I'm going to go talk about what the main difference between the two of them are. So simple interest, the principal amount stays the same every time you calculate your interest. So if I invest $100 and I get 2% interest on that $100, so let's type that out here, $100 and I get 2% interest, right? I'm going to make in that year, I'm going to make $20, or sorry, I'm going to make $2 in interest, right? Because 2% of 100 is $2. Then next year, I'm going to calculate the same thing. So next year, I made $2 interest as well. Even though in my account, I have $102, right? So I had $100 I invested. I made $2 interest that year. So I have $102 in my account now. But next year when I calculate interest, I don't calculate it on $102. I calculate it still on my original investment of $100. For compound interest, it's different. So if I put $100 in my account at 2% interest, I'll make $2. And then next year, I use that new total of $102 to calculate my new interest rate. So then it will be, say, $2.25 interest. So every year you keep your money in your account, you make more and more money in interest, right? It goes up by a little bit because you're calculating on that new total. But for simple interest, you don't. It's the same every year. If you get 2% interest the first year, you're going to get 2% interest on your third year, your 10th year, whatever. So compound interest is better if you want to make more and more and more money. That's what all the rich people do, like Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. They invest in compound interest accounts. So let's look at an example of how we would do that. So right here, interest period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I put $2,000 in my account originally at 8% interest, and I collect my interest every half a year. So if I go 2,000 times 0.08 times 0.5, I will get $80. I made $80 interest in that first half year I invested my money. So total, I'll have $2,080 in my account, right? The original investment plus what I made in interest. Now the second time I calculate interest now, I don't do it on my original investment of $2,000. I do it on my new total of $2,080 times 8% times 0.5. So in the second time I collect interest, I'm going to collect $83.20. $3.20 more than I did the first time. If I add $83.20 plus $2,080, I'm going to get $2,163.20. Now for the next time I calculate interest, that's my new total. I put in this blank. 2,163.20 times 8% or 0.08 times 0.5 equals $86.53. And then I add this to this. That's my new total. And I put that for my principal amount for the next time I calculate interest, right? So every time you do it, it's increasing, but you're making more and more and more and more interest, right? So imagine you invested $5 million like Bill Gates could. How much money you're going to make just by having it sit in the account, right? This is how compound interest works. If it was simple interest, you'd calculate my original investment, $2,000 times 0.08 times 0.5 equals 80. And then in my account, I'd have $2,080. But the next time I calculate interest, I'm only calculating it on that 2,000. So I'm going to still only make $80, right? And then I would add in my account, I have $2,080 plus another 80. I'd have $2,160 in my account. But I would only calculate my interest off of my original investment of 2,000. Right? So simple interest, you calculate it off your original investment every single time. It doesn't change. But compound interest, you calculate your interest off of your new total. So I know that's kind of complicated. I said the word interest 10 times in a minute and a half. But just understand that compound interest is better than simple interest for making money. And just look at the tables and how I filled them out to show you how they differ. So look at compound interest here. See how I change the total I'm calculating it on every time. But if I went to simple interest, I don't. It stays the same every time. All right? Lastly, it kind of makes you look at how you can make the most money is if you compound interest annually, semi-annually, or quarterly. So it has you fill out these three tables looking at it. And in the long run, the answer is if you compound interest quarterly, you make the most amount of money because you're getting paid off of a higher number more often, right? 4 times a year instead of twice a year or instead of once a year. You'd rather be paid 4 times a year than once a year, right? This makes more sense. So, any questions about what simple interest is, what compound interest is, and the difference between them, or how to do any of this stuff, please let me know and I'll go over it with you because I know this is a kind of complicated concept to grasp, especially when you're learning online and I'm not there with you in the classroom. So please reach out and let me know. My video is going to cut off in 5 seconds, so hopefully this makes sense, and if not, please reach out and let me know, okay?